In today's video, I'm going to reveal Nebraska's most underrated players that nobody is talking about going into next season. Guys who are expected to make a big jump. So we're going to go over who these players are, what they bring to the table, what you can expect from them in 2025, and everything else you need to know. So really quick, this is going to be a fun video going over my guys with the Huskers. Hey, if you're having a good day, because I know I am, hit that like button. Also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan, you're unsubscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for daily Husker football videos just like this. Practice updates, recruiting updates, whatever you want, I got you covered. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it, going over the most underrated players on Nebraska football's roster, guys that nobody's talking about. And these are players that I've been high on for a long time, that, you talk to other Husker fans, you talk to media members, and they're just never bringing these guys' name up. It doesn't make sense to me. Let's get things started with the number one guy who I think is really underrated, was one of the most underrated pickups for Nebraska in the transfer portal, and this is Harley Gilmore, coming in from Kentucky, sophomore player for the Huskers, played 1 year with the Wildcats as a 17-year-old true freshman, had 6 catches for 150 yards, 1 touchdown. I really like Harley Gilmore, and I recently reacted to his film on the channel. This guy plays angry. Okay, he's coming out of Florida. He's a prodigy. So again, he reclassified up. He was playing as a 17-year-old last year. He's going to be 18 as a true sophomore this year. And he's a guy who likes to hit people. He likes to block. He likes to make contested catches. He's incredibly shifty. Okay, so he can make a play on his feet. He can juke guys out of their socks. He can return punts for you. But overall, man, he's a track star. He's a guy who's a deep ball threat. Really, really good hands, something that I was impressed with. And a guy who succeeds at almost everything he does on the football field. He's so elusive. He's such a utility knife. You can put him at the slot. You could put him at wide receiver X. You can put him at Z, which I think is probably his best spot. He has good height on him, good size, a really strong wingspan. Really, really phenomenal prospect. Kentucky, they were sad to see him go. Nebraska picked him up because Dakel Shorts went over to the Huskers. And I just think nobody's talking about him. Like, people discuss Dane Key all the time, as they should. Dane Key's a phenomenal player. They discuss Jacory. They discuss Isaiah Hunter. Harley Gilmore is someone I have my eyes out this spring ball, because I think he could absolutely shine, make a name for himself, really feel good about his future. And he's so young, man. He's so incredibly young, where I expect him to take a big jump and be one of the best young players in the country this year. So Harley Gilmore, you want just a dynamic wide receiver who can do just about everything, who's fast, who's shifty, who has great hands, good route running, plays angry, he plays to win. This guy does not like losing. That's what we get here with Harley Gilmore. That's my first underrated player. Let's get to number 2 on the offensive line. Preston Tamoa. We've been hearing a lot of good things about him ever since he got to Nebraska. Out of Hawaii, was a 4-star recruit, number 1 player in the state. He plays offensive guard, 6'4", 325 pounds. Preston Tamoa put on a lot of good weight his true freshman year. Again, a lot of times offensive linemen, they don't play just because they want to put on a bunch of weight immediately. He put on a lot of good weight, and he looks the part, not much fat on him, a lot of really, really good muscle. Matt Rhule name-dropped him recently in a press conference and said that him and Grant Bricks have been taking a lot of steps forward, that both of them are expected to be in that 2 deep this spring. They were both in the 2 deep for the bowl game. People forget about that. And I just think a lot of people discuss Grant Bricks a little bit more. And Grant Bricks was a great prospect. He was the number 1 player coming out of Iowa in last year's class as well. But Preston Tamoa, honestly, I think has a higher upside. Okay, he's incredibly athletic. He's a true guard through and through. He's a good puller. He's good in the running game. He has good technique in the pass pro. A lot of these Hawaii offensive linemen, they're incredibly impressive. Watch out for Preston Tamoa. I feel really good about his future. You have to be a darn good player to be in the 2 deep as a second-year guy. He might just compete to start. So watch out for Preston Tamoa. He's going to be ready to go this spring. Let's get to number 3. Keeping it with the offense, this time in the tight end room, Mac Markway. Why does nobody ever discuss Mac Markway? It makes no sense to me. Again, transfer coming in from LSU. He was a former very high 4-star recruit coming out of St. Louis. He's 6'4". He's 260 pounds at tight end. He's built like a Big Ten tight end. Okay, and you know what I like about Mark Markway? He's one of the first complete tight ends we've had in a long time. Okay, meaning he can block at a fairly elite level. He has great hands, good route running. He's a vertical threat. He has athleticism on him. Okay, usually we have tight ends who can only do one of the two. They can either catch passes or they can block. Like Luke Lindenmeyer, for example. He's only a blocker. Heinrich Hoiberg is only going to be a pass catcher. Carter Nelson's probably only going to be a pass catcher. Thomas Finoni was really only a pass catcher. You only can get one or the other for the most part for Nebraska. This guy can do both. And I get it. He was coming off of an injury. He tore his ACL early last fall. He probably will miss the majority of the spring practice. But Mac Markway, man, I wouldn't be shocked if he starts for the Huskers alongside Carter Nelson just because he's a complete guy. He's a great blocking tight end. And overall, really, really good player for the Big Red. So absolutely would watch out for this guy. Again, former LSU tight end. Now let's get to the defensive line. This is a player that I don't think people give him enough respect. Elijah Judy at the defensive line spot will likely start at nose tackle for the Huskers this year. 6'3", will be a senior. I like Elijah Judy a lot, and I thought he really proved a lot of people wrong this year. He had a good year, and it doesn't really show up in the stat sheet. He only had officially 13 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, but he was a nose tackle. A lot of times nose tackles aren't going to fill up the stat sheet. They just want to pick up blocks. He was graded very well according to Pro Football Focus. Okay, and he's a guy, he's still 21 years old. He was a former 4-star coming out of high school. He's a leader in this D-line room. Out of all the guys, he's the biggest leader. Okay, he might be a single-digit player for the Huskers. Okay, and yet it felt like when Elijah Judy returned, people are like, okay, it's nice to have him back, but is he really going to start? Of all the guys on the defensive line, I feel the most confident probably about Elijah Judy starting. I really do. So I like Elijah Judy a lot at that nose tackle spot. Like, is he a future NFL guy? Maybe. Like, maybe a 6th, 7th rounder, but he's a leader. He's a guy who will be in the mix to be a single-digit player. He was productive last year, proved a lot of people wrong. He has that high upside because he's a former 4-star. I feel good about Elijah Judy. I really do. I give this man some respect because he probably won't be Nash, but he might just get to be Nash, which means he's not going to be as good as Nash maybe, but he's probably going to get up to that point. Right? He's going to get close. We'll see if he can do just that. So Elijah Judy, give him some respect. Let's go to the defensive back room with one of my guys. You guys already know how I feel about this player. Larry Tarver out of Miami, Florida. This guy is a redshirt freshman for the Huskers, 5'10", 175 pounds. You want a speedster. You want a guy who can lock down any wide receiver in the country with his speed, with his man coverage skills. That's what you get here with Larry Tarver. Okay, we really lack these high athletic corners. We haven't had that in a while. Like, Quinn Newsom was a great corner for us. He wasn't an athletic freak. Neither was, Cam Taylor-Britt. Neither was a DiCaprio Boodle, a Tommy Hill. Like, those guys weren't athletic freaks. They were physical, and they had good ball skills, but they weren't guys who were running 4.3s at the NFL Combine. Larry Tarver's that. And he's a Miami boy. And you know how Miami corners are. They're physical. They're good tacklers. They're can go up and get jump balls. He checks a lot of boxes. And he was a player that I expected to play last year. That didn't happen. Again, there was a lot of shuffling with that DB room. But with a brand new defensive backs coach with Addison Williams, I don't see a world where Larry Tarver doesn't get on the field. At least, not as, a 2D player. Okay. He might even start alongside Gia Wright. We know how Addison Williams likes his DBs. He likes them fast, lengthy, go up and get jump balls, and go up and get interceptions, and just overall playmakers. He likes those Florida boys. I see no reason why Larry Tarver can't start. Really feel good about this guy with his speed and athleticism. 2 more. Gabe Moore back to the defensive line. I recently watched Gabe Moore's film. I'll post that video. If I haven't already posted that video, I'll post it pretty soon. Gabe Moore was very underrated as a transfer portal pickup. A lot of people think this was our worst transfer portal pickup. We got him from Mississippi State. He has all 4 years of eligibility left. I dove into his high school film, and I was sneakily impressed with how athletic he is. Okay, he is incredibly athletic. And I know this is he's 250 pounds. This is wrong. That comes from his high school profile. He's up to 290. So he's 6'4", he's 290. He's actually really, really fast for being that big. He jumps off the line. He has a good swim move. You can put him at nose. You can put him at the 3 technique spot. Again, he has all 4 years left. Gabe Moore is going to be a heck of a player for Nebraska. I feel really good about his future with the Huskers. Again, he spent 2 years with Mississippi State. He redshirted in 2023. Then 2024 he sat out the entire season because of some family issues. So again, all 4 years left. But I like his upside. I like his athleticism. Will he be in the 2D? But I don't know. But this isn't some schmuck player. This is a guy who actually has upside and dominated his level of competition in high school and probably should have been a 4-star recruit. So, like Gabe Moore. And then one last guy I want to talk about is Willis McGahee in that linebacker core. Just a player who I think doesn't get talked about enough, right? He might start this year at that jack spot. He might start at the inside backer spot. He's a utility knife player. Of course, we know his genes with his dad, of course, a legendary Miami Hurricanes running back. But people forget that Willis McGahee had 2 forced fumbles this year for the Huskers, led the team in that department. Okay, one of those came in a very crucial moment against Colorado. He had 13 tackles. He had 1 sack. He was a playmaker. He had 2 passes defended. He has good length on him. Strong wingspan despite only being 6'1". He's about 235. Probably he's going to get up to 245, 250 by the time we get to the fall. He's athletic, man, and Matt Rhule wants those game-changing linebackers, who can get to the edge, who are fast, who have that athletic upside. Willis McGahee, man. I know a lot of people like to talk about Vincent Shavers as a young linebacker. This is the guy that doesn't get enough credit for as well as he played. We're always talking about Vincent Shavers, and we should. Vincent Shavers was a great player, and he did outplay Willis McGahee. But Willis McGahee, man, was one of our best young linebackers we've seen in a very long time as a true freshman. He made his impact. He's going to be a heck of a guy next year. And it should be noted, he burned his red shirt because he was that good. So I like Willis McGahee. Would not be shocked if he starts at jack or somewhere on this defense because he's a complete utility knife. All right, guys. Just wanted to make this video going over some of my guys who I think are underrated. Wanted to give these guys a spotlight. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who is your most underrated player? Maybe somebody I didn't mention. Maybe they're so underrated that even I didn't mention them. Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, you know what to do. Hit the like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go big red, go Rhule. See you in the next one.